That lady was too small. She was too small. She was this tall. She was literally, Harrison Ford is sitting down and she's like here.
It was a choice.
It was ridiculous. Hannah,
Yes, Kevin.
happy 4-year anniversary.
Thank you so much.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
And happy reviewing Captain America Day.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Me neither. So we watched Captain America last night.
Yes.
Opening night in a theater with a bunch of young children, super excited to watch it. And
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
now, Hannah, do you like the Marvel movies in general? Because I get mixed vibes from you on this.
None of them are made for me, okay? However, I've found some of them to be surprisingly enjoyable. Not this one, but other ones I've found to be surprisingly enjoyable.
Okay.
So I felt going into this, I would have never chosen to see it if you hadn't dragged me there.
And I dragged you
You did.
by the hair.
You dragged me by, yeah.
And you were screaming.
And what? Because I just fell down in the parking lot and you started dragging me by the hair and I was like, Kevin, I said I'd walk in, but whatever.
I'm sorry I punched you a few times in the face also.
Yeah, I mean, it was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
It happens.
Okay.
I would have never chosen to go to
I feel like we're gonna say a lot of things critiquing this, but it's all just gonna come back to it's boring. They managed to make an action movie that is boring to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's not really like a bad movie. It's just an incredibly mediocre or maybe slightly below average movie.
Or it just felt like a pointless movie. And this leads to my larger problem with Marvel. Because I feel like a lot of the Marvel movies I had enjoyed in the past, I was able to go in as a non-Marvel fan and still like enjoy the humor to them or whatever. Like they were just enjoyable experiences and I feel like it kind of like transcended just superhero fans. But they started having so much lore to everything. And even like the last Spider-Man movie, which that might be the most recent Marvel movie I've seen. That like was like a full excited theater and everyone's cheering, but I enjoyed that less than other Spider-Man movies because there was so many like other characters and other stories involved, which I can imagine if you're knowledgeable about all of that, it's probably awesome. But it's less accessible for people that don't know all the lore.
Yeah.
So I saw the end of Endgame when this new guy became Captain America. Am I missing anything else? Has there been any Captain America action between that and right now?
Yeah, he had his own TV show.
Okay. There's a couple moments that I was like, I don't know if I'm missing something. And then a couple moments where I'm like, I'm definitely missing something.
Yeah, and I saw a couple episodes of that TV show, and that was it for me. And then I looked up a couple things online. The big celestial being thing, that was from Eternals.
And like, do we know Harrison Ford's character?
Yeah, so Harrison Ford, I guess, was the recast of the girl's dad in The Incredible Hulk. Because the dad in the Hulk movie is the one who creates the bad Hulk or something. It's been so long, I don't know.
But that's so annoying that even you, someone who's like watched all of this, there's like all these elements from movies 20 years ago.
But I think none of it really mattered all that much to this story. I feel like the reason this movie was boring was more because the plot felt super convoluted.
Sure.
And it's like when they introduced the big godlike being in the ocean, I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's from, but I get it. Sure, it has a powerful resource.
That's a being?
Well, it looked like a big
It's a landmass.
It looked like a big god.
Yeah, I didn't
creature.
know why there was like a hand coming out.
Whatever it is. When they introduced the big rock in the ocean, I was like, okay, I get it. It's got a resource, everyone wants it. Doesn't really matter how it got there.
I guess so.
You know?
I just think it's frustrating when all of their movies feel like you're watching a sequel.
You know, I understand.
And for it to not feel like watching a sequel, you have to watch like 30 movies and like countless TV shows.
These are valid complaints.
Okay.
But it's funny because I just feel like it's on this scale of complaints for this movie, I think it's on the very bottom. I feel like, yeah, there's a couple lines that you're like, all right, whatever.
Wait for it.
I wasn't sure how to talk about this movie, so what I did is I made a little list.
Do you have a dramatic scroll that's gonna...
No.
Okay.
I typed it up in 30 seconds. It's what I think are some things that make a superhero movie good.
Oh, okay.
And we can see if any of these apply to Captain America: Brave New World.
Okay.
First, I have internal struggle / moral dilemma.
Moral dilemma.
So your main character usually should have something that he's battling internally, some big decision. So for example, Iron Man, am I gonna make weapons of mass destruction that will be used against my own people, or will I not do that? Spider-Man, am I gonna hook up with my neighbor who's hot, or,
Not.
Or not. Let me redo that one. Spider-Man, am I going to use my powers for the good of mankind or hook up with my neighbor who's hot?
That one.
It's usually a thing and then a not.
Yeah, and I'm happy that you brought it up in those terms, because I guess I had the same complaint, but I wasn't sure like why. But it felt like the plot didn't have that much to do with Captain America. Yeah. He was just kind of there. He was there, so he was the guy like looking into things and trying to figure things out, but it had nothing to do with actually him.
Yeah, he's just doing his job.
Yeah. And does he get paid?
Probably.
He said that during it. He's like, just doing my job. And it's like, is that like taxpayer money?
I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, he's got no emotional stake in the story. The only thing that you can say that he does is he wants to clear the elderly guy's name, who I don't know what his relation is to that guy. I think there's...
Is that a guy from the TV show?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Because that too, like it felt like they had such a long-standing relationship that it felt like there was something I was missing.
Yeah, but either way, that's not a big enough moral dilemma.
Yeah.
That's something where, the guy gets locked up in the beginning and then he's like, okay, and then he's never mentioned again until the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Okay, next point. A good superhero movie will have the lowest point for our hero, the biggest struggle. Something tragic happens, or he just gets so fucking defeated, and now the hero needs to decide if he can muster up the strength to fight back. Does that happen in this movie?
No.
No, it does not. Okay, next point. Survival of loved one at stake. Some sort of close person whose life is endangered. This doesn't need to be in every superhero movie, but gosh darn, does it work?
I mean, I guess I'd say like his friend being in jail.
No, because his life isn't in danger,
No, it isn't.
And it's not dramatic enough.
And even like when he was going, well, I don't know if we can say this yet, but when they were putting him into solitary, can I bring that up now?
I'll beep it out.
Okay. When they're all of it?
Yeah.
When they're putting him into solitary confinement, that they could have made that more like emotional, more like rough. But he was like, I don't want to go back there. And he did. They just like walked him there.
Yeah. Whatever.
Like they could have made that more of like he's being like tortured in jail, or like,
Well, I mean, he's, it's a United States prison.
But they didn't make it look horrible.
I don't know. You want him to get raped in jail? Is that what you wanted in the Captain America movie?
Yeah. I thought maybe they could do a crossover with Joker
Right.
2.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
My next point, Hannah, is momentum in plot. Again, not needed, but in this movie, the first half of the movie is so leisurely. They're just kind of like strolling around like, all right, what's the next thing we need to investigate? And just, and again, they're having a good time while they're doing it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like anything really like engaged until halfway through.
But I feel like a lot of these things are what made it feel like it was just made with a younger audience in mind. Because they didn't hit any of the like emotional points, any of like the highs or lows. Even like the action. From the beginning, it felt very like everything was okay. Like he was never at risk. I mean, I think of like, I'm not a big action person, but I do like John Wick. And one of the things I like about John Wick is that in the action, like it feels like a real fight. Like it feels like he's really talented, and he's a better fighter than is humanly possible. But at the same time, like, you see him getting hurt. You know, you see him getting punched, getting like taken aback.
Your love of John Wick is so weird because especially with this point, we're trying to talk about how the hero never gets like knocked down. And like, yeah, John Wick is another like invincible superhero character.
But he does get knocked down. He just gets back up and like it hurts him.
But the John Wick movies have the same problem as this. You never feel like that guy is gonna get killed or whatever.
But it's not about him getting killed. It's about like the fighting, like, you could imagine, even the best fighter in the world, it's still going to hurt to get punched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a scene to your point, there was a scene in this movie where he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And no reaction.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like he's such a badass. And then I forgot until the last like 20 minutes of the movie that he never took like the super serum or whatever. Like he's just a normal guy. Like Captain America, the original one, was like a super soldier who got injected with this shit that makes him super strong.
They were mentioning the serum and I'm like, what?
Yeah, the original Captain America. There's a shot of him like holding a helicopter in place as trying to fly
away. So like they're
away.
doing steroids and this guy doesn't do steroids.
Yeah, so yeah, at the end of this movie when, you know, spoilers, he fights the Hulk, I'm like, there's a point where the Hulk just hits him and I'm like, this guy would be crushed.
Yeah.
Like, he would explode on that punch, you know? But he's got his little purple wings, I guess, that... Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to my points before I was rudely interrupted.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, good superhero movie needs villain with opposing ideology. So you think of X-Men, you have Professor X, who wants mutants to not fuck with humans even though they're being oppressed. And then you have Magneto, who wants to destroy all humans or turn all of them into mutants or whatever. Opposing ideology. It makes it interesting. You have Batman and the Joker. One wants to create chaos and anarchy, and the other wants to uphold the law, blah, blah, blah.
So boring.
The villain in this movie sucks. It's just, it has this like incredibly convoluted plot that goes in a million different directions, and at the end of the day, the villain's like, I just want to treat this guy badly. I just want to expose the president as a piece of shit. That's like his whole plan, you know? It's like, this isn't interesting. Okay, and then the last 2 points are you need good music and you need good action. And this movie did not have good music, and it did not really have good action except for maybe the last like 5 minutes that I thought were like kind of fun.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
Can we talk about the little tiny lady?
Ruth.
Ruth. I'm not one of those people. I hate those YouTube channels where the whole channel is like, wokeness is ruining Hollywood. And it's like, I get it. When all the woke shit started happening, right?
Don't say I get it.
No, well, okay.
And you're like, and they're right, but...
When movies started getting super woke, initially it was annoying. It's an adjustment. You have to make an adjustment, right? But stop making every video about that. I mean, how do you have entire channels where it's like, you don't have to click on the video because I fucking know what you're gonna say. You're just gonna be like, there was more than one black guy in the movie. Why is everything so woke now? And there's chicks fighting? Like, what is this? That's every one of these fucking videos. However,
oh no!
That lady was too small. She was too small. She was this tall. She was literally, Harrison Ford is sitting down and she's like here.
It was a choice.
It was ridiculous. She must weigh like 70 pounds.
Oh, and there's that one conversation when they were talking about Sebastian Stan, and like she walks up right at the end and she was like, oh, who's that guy? He's tall. And it's like, everyone's tall to you.
Yeah.
Like, really, you're gonna take an actual tall person away?
Yeah, it was way too much, my God. And she was doing all the acrobatic moves and all that shit, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
It could flick you.
Since when were they red?
I'm so happy. I looked at my audience analytics, and most people who watch our channel, my channel.
It's mine too. Thank you so much.
Hey, my channel.
Welcome back. I'm Hannah.
Get out of here. Most people who watch my channel They're like, I think it starts around like 25 and up, so most of the little ones are out.
Okay.
And if you are a little person watching, not a little person, if you're a young person watching this channel,
shout out to the
little people, then hopefully you're not offended by this because you know that this movie's silly.
But also, like, you know, I always feel bad, like, critiquing movies that I know aren't made for me, because I'm like, it's totally okay for the people that like it, like, that are excited about it, you know?
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me that people actually like this, but I just felt like, as a fan of these movies and this genre in particular, it did just feel like a boring movie. Yeah. And then every time someone starts fighting, you perk up for a little, you're like, oh. You know, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, that's not.
Well, and it is interesting we had the same kind of perspective on it, because like we are coming from different places. Like you're coming from it as someone who's kind of like a Marvel fan, and I'm coming from it as someone who's like not a Marvel fan, but a fan of movies, and I have enjoyed some Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it didn't work for either of us.
Okay, well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.